Hello and welcome to Just For You. This is a program on YouTube, and I'm excited that you all could join me today. It is an amazing day, and I'm so glad that I could sit with you. We're in your living room, your bedrooms, walking in the park, driving, whatever you're doing, and you are looking at YouTube. I bet you definitely will find me there. I want to say thanks to my subscribers for subscribing, and I will ask if you just come in my way to please subscribe. And if you do, could you leave me a comment just to let me know that you did subscribe? And I will appreciate that. Also, I will ask that you please share my video. Okay? If you share, let me know as well. And if you please, I would appreciate if you could like and then hit the notification bell. It will be exciting to know that you are receiving every other video of mine that is upcoming. So I'm coming to you live today from the United States of America, the suburb of the Atlanta, Georgia area. So I'm so glad. And I'm Isaac Marwieh. I am a Liberian, but I've been in America now for many years. And I anticipate going back home in the near future, even though not to live, but to go and check and see how things are. And if possible, by grace of God, who knows, I might return home sooner than later. Today, I would like to discuss with you, or to just give you a concept that I got to know through a brother who sent me an interview from the Perspective magazine concerning a unique individual called Bishop Dr. Augustus B from Sino County in Liberia. He's from the Tadrich Sun tribe, well educated. He established or founded the ENI Mission School, also Polytechnic Institute, where I was a beneficiary of that, where we were in the 10th grade and we learned trade to the 12th grade. And then when you graduate, you graduate with 2 certificates, one for your technical training and one for your high school graduation. So that was something unique in itself. And it happened that he had so much ideas and so much concepts of wanting to build Liberia, how to help Liberians. He spent so much money on so many people, sending them to school. And I was fortunate to be a child of this man. And today I decided to talk about his concept of how to work with the government of Liberia in order to lessen the crowdedness of Monrovia. He stated in his concept that some years ago, the city of Monrovia had 425,000 people. But now there are 1.2 million people living in Monrovia. And we realize that many of these people who have converged in Monrovia are from the hinterland, from the rural parts of Liberia. And he decided to form this idea: how could he help the government of Liberia to lessen the amount of people that are in Liberia? And he came up with this idea, this concept, where he felt people in Liberia are living in slums. And they are living in slums and in bad situation. When it rains, Liberia is the wettest city, as it is said in the word. It rains so much, 14 inches of rain every time. And he decided to go to the drawing board and do some calculations. And he came up with the idea that if 10,000 people sit around doing nothing in Monrovia for 5 days, Liberia loses 44,000 workday in a week. And he came up with the idea as well, if 10,000 people, or 100,000 actually, people sat around in Monrovia doing nothing, the concept of 100,000 people sitting around in Monrovia doing nothing, it threw Liberia back economically 444 years. Just sitting down for 5 days in a week. So he decided to propose to the government of Liberia. But it happened that the Lord called him home. And he, I believe, didn't have the opportunity of proposing this to the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. But as a son of his, I decided to use this form of medium to tell the people of Liberia, the government of Liberia, that this is a proposal that if they could only use it, Liberia or Monrovia will have less people who will just fill the streets, just throw garbage everywhere. Because recently we see the city mayor and the government, His Excellency George Marwieh, are trying to clean the city of Monrovia. It is so disgusting and so disheartening to see mountains of garbages everywhere. Marketplaces, the streets are so filthy. But that's the only way I believe Monrovia can be kept clean. If many of our people from the hinterland return and do stuff in the villages, the cities, the counties, that would be a big help, and it would bring a good, healthy environment to our people, whether in Monrovia or in the various counties, the cities, the villages. Because if it's less populated, we won't have so much garbages and sicknesses and illnesses going around. But he decided that to talk about something called the economic developmental communities. Whereas you build 20 houses in a neighborhood, and then you put a community center within the midst of those 20 houses, like the center of those 20 houses, and you have 20 families living within that community or within that neighborhood. And if you have a community, you build 400 houses and put in each of those neighborhood, you put a community center or study hall where children and their parents can study. And if you have those 400 homes in a community all over Liberia with water, light, sanitation, everything in there, people will want to go back home into the cities and villages, towns to live. Because they will live a decent life better than what they are doing in Monrovia. People living on bridges, living in zinc shacks, living in slums and in water. When you watch other videos on YouTube, it is so hard to digest. Human being like us living in such deplorable conditions. So I want to propose on his behalf, even though he's not with us anymore, he's going to be with the Lord. But this is an opportunity to tell the leadership of Liberia, look into the possibility of building these economic developmental communities or neighborhoods where you will have these 20 houses with 20 families and a study hall in the middle of these houses, but well designed and beautifully landscaped, so that people will want to go back to their counties and to their various villages and towns to leave Monrovia. And even in those villages, they will be healthy because they won't throw garbages everywhere. It is so hard to digest the situation that is going on there. So he came up with this idea. And if we as Liberians can follow suit or follow this proposal, many of our people will return to where they're from. We realize that parents could get involved with their children because a mother wouldn't want to see anything better than her children succeeding in life. Succeeding in life, becoming better off than her. Even the father will want his children to make more money than him, to live a more decent life than him, to have better education than him. So when our children go into these study halls and these communities and learn, they too can grow up being well educated by being a masoner, being a carpenter, the mothers or the daughters being seamstresses, be able to sew clothes, to send it out into many stores and markets, to sell to children and to elderly people, and they can sustain themselves from making these things. Like even producing soap. People have to walk miles and miles to get soap, salt, and whatever to keep them living. But if they just have this idea where they can build these neighborhoods and these houses in communities and let these people study, because people want to succeed in life. I bet those of you in Monrovia want to succeed. That's why you're on the streets of Monrovia. That's why you are over a red light and trying everything you can to succeed, sending your children to school. If you listen to Liberians today, they talk about sending their kids to school. Education has become the hallmark of the Liberian society. But tumbling over each other in Monrovia is not the solution. Go back home, my people. If the government could help, maybe people might ask the question, where would the government get so much money from to build these neighborhoods and these community homes? Liberia is a country. They can discuss this proposal with other countries, like the United States of America, like Germany, like Great Britain, like China, other countries who are developed and have enough and more money that they need. And they can help the people of Liberia. Liberia, we are so illiterate. There are so many high percentages of illiteracy in Liberia. And I believe that our people want education. That's why His Excellency Dr. George Marwieh decided to make LU, the University of Liberia, free of charge. That he's now paying the WIAC fees of our children. I believe he wants to see the best of our people. But crowding Monrovia is not the solution. Because I see some schools that are built in Monrovia out of mats, and it's just so dilapidated and so terrible. How can we solve this problem? It's by allowing our people to live a life that is worth living. The government need to invest. The government need to invest into our people. Instead of us having big cars and huge mansions and doing everything that we think can make our life more suitable, we need to look at our brothers and sisters. What can we do to uplift their lives? So I'm proposing today, on behalf of the late Bishop Augustus B. Marwieh, that Liberia, the government of Liberia, need to invest in its people. Look at our counties, our cities. They are underdeveloped. Monrovia is doing better, but because of the crowdedness of the city, you just can't see what's happening. Now you can see red light. It's clear. You can see the stores. You can see other places now because of the garbage dump and the amount of people. It was so difficult to see the beauty of Monrovia. Liberia is a beautiful country located on the west coast of Africa, just off the Atlantic Ocean. There is so much that we can do to make this place a place to live. So I want to take this time to appeal to the government of Liberia on behalf of the late Dr. Bishop Augustus B. Marwieh. Look into the possibility of going up interior in our counties, in our cities, in our towns, and doing and building the economic developmental communities and neighborhoods where our people can study, where our people can learn and become better tomorrow. They can earn for themselves living that they don't have to work with government to do it. They can do it on their own. They can build stuff on their own. They can build houses. They can soap and carpentry and masonry and so many other things, agriculture. There's so many things that people can do without the government getting fully involved or without them being employed or hired by the government. Even if they are educated, the government can employ these people and they can support the work of the government to become a better country. It is long overdue, Liberians. Let us step back and rethink, how can we make our country a viable place to live, a suitable place to live, that those in other countries will want to return home. There are so many of us that want to return to Liberia. The sanitation situation is deplorable because there's so much people throwing garbage bags and everything in drainages on the streets. When they drink water, they throw it out there. We need to speak to the various communities and tell them, if you have a head within your community and you see people doing that, they need to be reprimanded. Either find them and the community can get together and clean around the community, sweep the streets, sweep around various houses and make your place look decent. And that's the way you're going to live longer. Because if you don't have a good health system, you could contribute your quota by cleaning around your environment, making it look decent. Cut the grass, weed the grass, make it look nice for you, not for anyone else, but for you who live within that community. And if you can't do it, why don't you go back to the hinterland? Go back to your counties, go back to your cities, go back to your villages, your towns, and make the best use of your proficiency, what you can do, your expertise to help the people up there. Teachers, you can go back to your villages. Marketeers, you can go back to your villages and towns and sell if that's what you want to do. You don't have to do it in Monrovia because these towns and villages and counties need to be developed as well. But with us all crowding Monrovia, there is nowhere under this sun that Monrovia can be developed and look beautiful, because the beauty of this country or this city is covered by the crowdedness of the city. So I just want to encourage you and admonish you, the people of Liberia, the government of Liberia. Please, if you don't have anything to do in Monrovia, sitting around, as I mentioned, the bishop calculated 10,000 people sitting around in Monrovia and in villages and towns doing nothing, or just Monrovia alone. 44 years of work hours is gone. 100,000 people just sitting around doing nothing in Monrovia. 444,000 work hours and days, just in 5 days, is gone. How can Liberia be developed economically if these things are happening? We need to go back to the drawing board and begin to re-examine how we can develop our country. Liberia is the oldest uncolonized country in Africa, but we are still slacking behind. I've noticed that now that the city of Monrovia is being cleaned, there are so many people complaining about it. Oh, how are the people going to feed their children? How are they going to send their children to school? How are they going to take care of themselves? Brothers and sisters, I tell you, will you want your kid to go to school or your children to pass away, to die from garbages and dirt and sicknesses that is within Monrovia? Which one do you prefer? I would prefer going back to the hinterland where I can have fresh air to breathe, live a clean and decent life, and do what I do in Monrovia. You can do marketing in the villages and the cities other than Monrovia. Monrovia is not the only place. How do we develop our counties, our towns, our villages, our cities? It's by going there and doing it. For it is said by the late Prince Nicole, as you make your bed, so shall you lie on it. So I want to encourage you, Liberians. Let's go back home. Let's leave the city of Monrovia. Let's heed to the bishop's concept of building homes in our villages and towns. Building a community center or steady place where people can go and study and learn trade. And that could be a great thing for our nation. Everyone wants to come to America. Do we actually know how America became what it is today? It's because the people labor for their country. Because the people heal to wisdom. They listen to one another. And they built on concepts. And today everyone wants to be a part of what is happening in America. We can do the same. We are smart people. We can be educated. We are strong people. We can do the best thing you can ever dream about. We can become the best country on the face of this earth. Once we can unite and fighting against a common cost, which is poverty, that has stricken our people, and they are living a deplorable life. Let's rally around, Liberians. Let's heed to the proposal and the concept of Dr. Marwieh. Let's put it into practice. Let's just try it out in one town, in one village, in one city, and see if it works. And I'm very sure he said within his interview that God gave him this concept. It wasn't something that he thought about and said this is how it should be. It was a concept he believed came directly from God to him. That can build our spiritual life too. The faith that we have in God. Or if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, you can live in a community in Liberia to the Muslims and Christians live together. You can build a mosque and a church. And everyone can live in harmony because Liberia is a fragile country. We know for 14 years we killed each other. People suffer and our country today are slacking behind. We need to step up and listen to wisdom. Listen to those who came before us and have left us. And I believe Liberia can be a better place to live. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I love you, Liberians. I love you. Please subscribe, share, like, and hit the notification bell. And I also want your criticism, constructive one. So if there's anything that I can do better to improve my videos on YouTube, I would love to do it. Thank you for being a part of this video today. And I ask that you invite others to join you because there are more that will be coming your way. Thank you and have a blessed day.